Hello, and welcome to the fourth and final episode of my podcast about the Cambodian genocide. I am Evan Jameson, and today we are going to wrap up the genocide, find out what happened, and why Pol Pot's reign of terror finally came to an end. In December 1978, Vietnamese forces invaded Cambodia with the goal to conquer Pol Pot. Pol Pot had invaded and threatened Vietnam consistently while in power, and Vietnam was tired of the threats. In January 1979, the Vietnamese made it to the capital city of Phnom Penh and overthrew the Khmer Rouge, officially ending their rule of Cambodia. Vietnam established a new pro-Vietnamese regime with a former leader of the Khmer Rouge leading the new government. The Vietnamese invasion also started the Cambodian-Vietnamese War, which lasted until 1989. Even though the Khmer Rouge was removed from power in Cambodia, their fight did not stop. They fled to the border of Cambodia and Thailand and continued to fight the Vietnamese in the jungles of Cambodia. Pol Pot's ideas led to the death of over 1/5 of the entire country's population. Many of those deaths occurred in farmland, where Khmer Rouge officials killed inefficient workers, and in Pol Pot's infamous mass graves that were scattered all throughout Cambodia. Quote, "The vast majority, almost 3.3 million men, women, and children, including 35,000 foreigners, were murdered within the years 1970 to 1980 by successive governments and guerrilla groups. Most of these, a likely near 2.4 million, were murdered by the communist Khmer Rouge. As explained by the University of Hawaii system, nearly 3.5 million people were killed during the years when Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge were in power or coming to power. The Khmer Rouge themselves executed approximately 2.4 million people while they were leading the regime in Cambodia. Of those 2.4 million, it is estimated that around 1 million were killed in forced labor camps and agricultural farmland. People were killed due to overwork, starvation, disease, and low productivity. It is also estimated that another 1 million were killed in mass graves across the country. Anyone who had intellectual knowledge or spread Western ideas before or during the genocide were killed at gunpoint in mass graves ordered by Pol Pot. The remaining 500,000 or so deaths occurred across the nation due to poor conditions caused by Pol Pot. During his regime, famine and disease ran wild in Cambodia, killing massive groups of people. Even though millions of innocent people lost their lives due to Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge, nearly all Khmer Rouge leaders and officials had fled with no trial or justice for the crimes, and no trials would be held until decades later. Pol Pot was arrested in 1997 and set to be tried later, but his death in 1998 meant the trial never happened. This situation occurred for many high-ranking officials, as death was able to find them before the judicial system could. In the mid-1990s, President Bill Clinton signed the Cambodian Genocide Justice Act and provided $500,000 to bring the perpetrators of the heinous crimes to justice. In 2003, a tribunal was created in Cambodia, with the help of the United Nations, to bring former leaders of the Khmer Rouge to justice. Cases against Khmer Rouge officials occurred in 2009, 2011, and 2018, with all these individuals sentenced to life sentences. Only a fraction of the individuals responsible for these crimes against humanity were tried, but they did bring some justice for the millions murdered. During the reign of the Khmer Rouge, the United States gave the genocide little public attention due to its involvement in other parts of Eastern Asia. Quote, "After the overthrow of the Khmer Rouge and the reopening of the country, the crimes began to gain wider international attention. News media reported on survivors' accounts. The 1984 film The Killing Fields, starring Sam Waterston as New York Times correspondent, Sidney Schanberg, and Hang S. Noor as Dith Pran, his Cambodian colleague, became a cultural touchstone, introducing people all over the world to Cambodia and its ordeal. As shown by the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, It was not until after the mass killings that the public became fully aware of the torture that had occurred on the other side of the world. Prominent survivors of the Cambodian genocide and even Holocaust survivors demanded that the killings be investigated and the true horror of what occurred be brought to light. The trials have been met with some criticism, however, as their cost and perceived ineffectiveness seem to outweigh the benefits they produce almost 50 years later. Cambodia's infrastructure was destroyed by the Khmer Rouge, so in 1980, when the Khmer Rouge was overthrown, they had to start from scratch with all new ideas. Today, their education is questionable, with uneven curriculum and different ideas being taught throughout the nation. Their economy took a large hit, with many areas still underdeveloped and Cambodia existing as one of Eastern Asia's poorer countries. Many citizens of Cambodia still distrust the government and fear corruption. Today, books, movies, and even songs have been used to help remember the tragedies of the Cambodian genocide so we can learn from them. Many sites of the killings are now used as tourist attractions, but the horror of what occurred in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979 will never be forgotten. Thank you for listening along in this mini-series following the Cambodian genocide. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.